You're all so quiet, I didn't have to say anything. Wow, this is unusual. Wow, this is going to be a good day. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to the eagerly anticipated grand opening of the NextStar Energy in the city of Windsor, Ontario. It is my honor to join you today as Windsor's mayor and as MC for this significant moment in the history of our region. Now, much like when we gathered in 2022 to announce this transformational investment, some of our speakers today have traveled from across the country and around the globe to be with us here this morning, and we will hear from each of them in short order. First, I have the privilege of talking with you about what this project means for all of us. 4 years ago, in March of 2022, we announced the joint venture between LG Energy Solutions and Stellantis to build Canada's first large-scale EV battery manufacturing facility. The joint venture became NextStar Energy in June of that same year. By November, construction had begun, and a year later, a topping-off ceremony was held to mark the installation of the final structural steel beam. Made in Canada, of course. In October 2024, battery module production began, and by May 2025, 8 million work hours had been logged on site. Construction was officially completed in September of last year, and the 1,000th NextStar Energy employee was hired in October, and full electrode and cell production began in November 2025. And just last month, LG Energy Solutions, in a mutually agreed decision with Stellantis, announced the company was acquiring full ownership of NextStar Energy. Now, this announcement came as the 1 millionth battery cell was produced. And along that transformational timeline, and with over $5 billion invested, almost a 4.25 million square foot facility rose to become the cornerstone of Canada's advanced manufacturing battery ecosystem. With it, 1,300 direct jobs were created, building a high-skilled, future-ready workforce. And all of that made possible here at Canada's first and only commercial-scale advanced battery manufacturing company. Now, the entire journey was certainly powered by true and strong partnerships between international corporate titans across 3 orders of government to create and support the conditions needed to make this day, this very moment possible with all of you. When this began, I described the investment and the shift we saw happening as being as big as the internal combustion engine was to the horseless carriage. And I said it was perhaps even larger if we factored in the environmental considerations. No matter what lens you view this project through, it represents one of the largest investments in Windsor in a century, and it has attracted incredible spin-off investments since the day that it was announced. In fact, since 2023, Windsor has welcomed 39 new investments and expansion projects above and beyond the NextStar Energy build. These additional investments are poised to create about 2,700 more jobs and generate over $830 million in capital spend within our community. And I'm talking about projects like the Minth Group with over $300 million investment and 1,100 jobs. I'm talking about additional direct investments with corresponding jobs, research and development opportunities, and more from folks like Dongshin, Motec, Bobic America, and NEO Battery Materials, just to name a few. But I'm also talking about our pipeline, where we are chasing over $6 billion in further investments that could land up to an additional 4,600 employment opportunities. And even in the face of ever-evolving global economic uncertainties, we remain the revival city that is one of the most important communities to watch in Ontario and all of Canada. And that's because of so many of the folks here in this room today to whom we owe a debt of gratitude. Thank you to LGES and Stellantis for coming together to ignite the spark. Thank you to the federal and provincial governments, to Prime Minister Carney, Minister Joly, Premier Ford, Minister Fedeli, and the teams they work alongside for their collaboration and significant funding and support provided to turn a vision into reality. Thank you to our partners at Invest Windsor Essex for working to attract a project of this magnitude to our region. And thank you to my colleagues on City Council. Many of them are here with us today. They stood in support of funding our Windsor Works economic development strategy that really helped pave the way for this investment in the city of Windsor. I thank Council as well for working in lockstep with me as we focus on the long game for Windsor and for investing responsibly to protect our future. Thank you to everyone in this modern electricity ecosystem for rowing in the same direction, for getting on the same page, and committing to growth, evolution, and sustainability in Windsor, Essex. What has been built here in our community will help to power the future of Ontario and Canada for generations to come. 4 years ago and today, we were ecstatic because of what this project would mean for all of us. for our country, our province, our city, our neighborhoods, our livelihoods, and of course, for families. And as the automotive and automobility capital of Canada, we have lived through the ups and downs of the sector for the past 2 decades. But throughout it all, Windsorites have worked in the automotive industry that first began along the banks of the Detroit River more than 100 years ago. And for over a century, folks have made their livings, raised their families, and invested in this community, all of that laying the foundation for our growth and our prosperity. Standing here today, we are standing at the gateway to the future, and we are truly powering what's next. And I want to thank each and every one of you. With that, let's turn our attention now to a special video from NextStar Energy. And now please welcome a man to the stage who's been here from the very beginning, the President and CEO of NextStar Energy, Mr. Danny Lee.
Good morning. Well, actually, it's already good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dennis Lee, and I'm honored to stand before you today as a Chief Executive Officer of NextStar Energy. Thank you all for joining us today, and welcome to the grand opening of our world-class facility, where we come together to celebrate how NextStar Energy is leading the charge, empowering what is next. Thank you. Before I begin, I want to thank LG Energy Solutions Global CEO, David Kim, for being here today. Thank you. His leadership and the global vision of LG Energy Solutions have helped turn ambitious idea into a reality, which we are celebrating today. I also want to extend my sincere thanks to Government of Canada, the Province of Ontario, and the City of Windsor for their unwavering support, as well as our partner at Unifor. It's a great honor to welcome Premier Doug Ford, Industry Minister Mélanie Joly here today, and your support did more than just moving this project forward. It helped unleash possibility, and it has been instrumental in making NextStar Energy what it is today. Thank you. I also would like to welcome Korean Industry Minister Jung-Kwan Kim for joining us today for the spirit of collaboration that continue to strengthen the partnership between Korea and Canada. Let me first talk about why Windsor. Over the course of my career, I've been fortunate to work with the LG in many different places around the world, from Korea to Germany and the United States. But let me tell you one thing, Windsor is a bit different. And here, we found something rare. We found a workforce shaped by generation of manufacturing excellence, a community that understands the pride of building something real, a city that does not just welcome manufacturing, but it embodied. Windsor was not just a logical choice, but it was right choice. Our joint venture with Stellantis was equally vital too. It anchors in one of the most important automotive ecosystem in the world and gave us a momentum to move quickly. And what followed was extraordinary. In just a few short years, we went from breaking the ground in November 2022 to hiring 1,300 employees and producing our 1 million battery cell at the facility that measured 4.23 million square feet and was built over 9,000 Canadian trade people. Thank you. Thank you. While this journey has been defined by speed, more importantly, it has been defined by resilience. And the resilience is what we prepare us for what comes next as we are shaping the new chapter in Canadian manufacturing. Today is not just a celebration of what we have achieved. It is declaration of what we are going to, where we are going to, and how NextStar Energy is going to powering what is next. Canada stands at a transformative moment in history. Energy is changing, economies are changing, and the ability to store and deliver power will shape the future as much as the ability to generate it. This is no longer only about electric vehicle, it's about energy system too that will power homes, industry, community across the country. And today, Canada has something incredibly important, which is a world-class domestic battery manufacturing capability here in Windsor. Facility like this strengthens supply chain. It accelerates the innovation and ensures that future is built right here. In a global economy where competition is rising, countries that build a critical capability at home create lasting advantage. And NextStar Energy helps Canada do exactly that. And looking ahead, our focus will continue to expand toward energy storage system, a solution that stabilizes the grid and supports renewable energy and strengthens energy security. Electric vehicle will remain essential as Canada automotive sector is evolving and attracting global investment. NextStar Energy is here to support that transformation too. But our mission is much broader. We are here to help Canada power what is next. And I have absolute confidence in the leading role our company NextStar Energy is going to play. As I conclude my remark, I'd like to close with this. To our employee, to LG Energy Solution, to our government partner, and our community, thank you for believing in what it could become. The next chapter, powered by our employee and by our ambition. It is what transformed this facility from steel and machinery into something far greater, more than a milestone. It's a signal. Canada is not just waiting for future. We are building it right here at home. And none of this would be made possible without your tireless dedication and hard work. Thank you. Please join me in welcoming Ontario's Minister of Economic Development, Job Creation, and Trade, and more importantly, our biggest advocate of NextStar Energy, Minister Fedeli. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Danny's. Everybody, so much has already been said, but today's celebration, as you all know, has been years in the making, and it is the product of true collaborative effort, as you have heard over and over. You know, when we first met with South Korea's LG Energy Solutions in 2021 to explore the future of global battery production, and we were there to underscore the people. Ontario's capacity is with us all to lead this movement. We showed them that Ontario brings together the stability, industrial capacity, and skilled talent that is necessary to turn this generational opportunity into reality. While we're oceans apart, discussions remained grounded in mutual trust, collective ambition, and a shared resolve. And in 2022, as you heard, we proudly welcomed NextStar as Ontario's first large-scale EV battery manufacturer. That was such an exciting day, Mayor. When the global economic landscape shifted, NextStar remained steadfast. They adopted their vision, they diversified their offerings, and are now doubling down on Windsor. They scaled their operations into large-scale energy storage for industry, critical infrastructure, and the technologies that are going to drive our future. So today's grand opening is a testament to why our government continues to lead trade missions and to advance diplomatic ties. It's to build this enduring, trusted partnerships that bring home jobs and investments and landmark investments to fruition. This plant is built for the long term and will be the cornerstone of Ontario's manufacturing sector and energy grid for decades to come. So to Danny's and the NextStar team, thank you for putting your faith in the people of Windsor, the manufacturing industry that's here in Ontario, and in our plan to protect and grow the economy. To our local champions, MPPs Dowie, Liardi, and Jones, and to Minister Joly and her team, and to, of course, Premier Ford, the best deal closer you're ever going to find. It's because of all of your dedication, the confidence in Ontario's future, that we continue translating missions into milestones. So please join me now in welcoming Unifor President Lana Payne to the stage. Lana?
Good afternoon, everyone, and what a pleasure it is to be here with all of you. Never, ever let it be said that we cannot build big things in this country because this facility is a testament to that. I want to first thank Danius and his, obviously the CEO here at NextStar, Premier Ford, Minister Joly, Minister Fedeli, Korean Minister Kim, as well as LG CEO David Kim, who I had the opportunity and pleasure to meet this morning, and Mayor Dilkens, and everybody who's gathered here today. I want to especially recognize the workers here at this facility who make all this and help make all this incredible work possible. Members of Unifor Local 444, including our plant chair who's joined me this morning, Rob Kennedy, as well as members from the local here, our Secretary Treasurer at 444, Manny Cardoso, and our first Vice President, Mike Stevenson. As you probably know, our union is in a lot of sectors. We represent over 320,000 workers across this country, pretty much every major part of the economy. Manufacturing, of course, to energy, forestry, mining, healthcare, education, telecommunications, aerospace, you name it, we're there. That's why Premier Ford and I spent a lot of time together. We represent about 40,000 people who work in Canada's auto sector as well, and very proud to do so. An industry that is constantly evolving and changing, including toward electrification. NextStar and its 800 plus uniform members is a product of that change. And what an incredible success story this facility is. No matter the challenge that you faced, you raised and rose above it. Unifor has begun what we hope is a long and productive collective bargaining relationship with NextStar Energy. We started that in July when our members got their first collective agreement, marking a historic milestone for workers at Canada's largest and first large-scale battery cell manufacturing facility. As you probably all know, contract talks can be challenging, even at the best of times. Success depends on a number of key things: trust, open and honest communication, and mutual respect. And I'm very pleased to say that both parties, who are new to each other, have demonstrated a shared desire to do what's best for this incredible facility, for our members, and for the workers here. And I want to thank Denis and his team for their leadership in this regard. Yes. Especially when you consider the current context of what we are all dealing with right now in Canada. Many people are facing uncertainty, so to have this kind of a day is incredibly important and uplifting. Let me tell you, it's great to see what's been accomplished here, where you continue to grow, to thrive, and to provide good Canadian union jobs. And I want to credit you for your leadership, your calm and consistent voice during these turbulent times, and to thank you for your unwavering commitment to this facility, to Canadian production, and to jobs and this community, something we need all corporate leaders to aspire to. There has never been a better time to support Canada's manufacturing base. We commend LG Energy and NextStar for their versatility in pivoting to maintain production in a changing marketplace, and for your ongoing commitment to Canadian workers. Our members are proud of what they do here. Very, very proud. Proud of the part that they are playing to build this great country with the things that they do every single day. So on behalf of our members, thank you for your commitment to Canada. Thank you for your commitment to this community and to Canadian workers, and for the opportunity to be here today. Now it's my very deep pleasure to introduce Federal Industry Minister Mélanie Joly, a very good friend.
Thank you, Lana. It's like a gathering of one big family today. So it's good to see all of you, of course, Premier, Vic, Lana, Drew, Danny's, Minister Kim. Thank you. I hope you're not too jet lagged. It's great to have the Korean government represented here. And also from LG Canada, Mr. Kim as well. Thank you all. Ça me fait vraiment plaisir d'être ici à Windsor. Ça fait quelques années que je suis venue et là, je trouve que je reviens pour des bonnes nouvelles. And so we're living now, and we know, in a much more complex and dangerous world. And we saw even what happened over the weekend. And that brings a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unpredictability, and a lot of turbulence on the markets. And we know that the global economy is changing and changing fast, and supply chains are being redefined. And we know also that people in Windsor understand this and feel this. And so there are lots of things we can't control in the world, but there are many things we can control. And as a government, in 2025, we're very much in a reaction mode. But in 2026, we have a plan and we're putting it into place. Donc, il y a beaucoup de choses dans le monde qu'on ne peut pas contrôler. Il y a plein de choses qu'on peut contrôler. Et donc, en 2025, on était plus en mode réaction. En 2026, on a un plan et on le met en place. And so, Canadians are very proud people and we're very resourceful. And when things are tough, we roll up our sleeves and we get to work. And so, we believe in our 500,000 auto workers, and we also think that we can create even more jobs for our auto workers. That's why we came up with a new auto strategy and a new defense industrial strategy, because both are aimed at protecting and creating jobs in advanced manufacturing and, of course, in cities like here in Windsor. Because we know that this is important, these strategies are important for people in Windsor, for people that Drew represents, but also for their families and the entire community. Our auto strategy is based on the fact that we have the best auto workers in the world. I know, Minister Kim, you're representing Korea, but we think we have the best auto workers in the world. And we know we can build the best cars in the world for the world. And the Dodge Charger recently won the best car in North America. We will do the work when it comes to the revision of the CUSMA. But we think also our auto strategy needed to be anchored in supporting made in Canada products and also electrification, because we know that's where the capital is going in the world. And we will use our defense procurement to attract investments from Korea, from Germany, and also from China. So on the defense front also, we just announced a week ago our first defense industrial strategy. We think that we can create 125,000 new jobs by empowering a new defense sector. And a lot of the jobs will be here because they will be linked to auto, to advanced manufacturing, to aerospace, tech, etc. And we will use our defense investments, which will be up to $500 billion by 2035, to make sure we have an economic stimulus for our advanced manufacturing sectors. And all that will be supported by our Buy Canada strategy. So today is more than opening a plant. It's actually Canada asserting control over its own economy. It's about creating jobs right here at home. And we know that NextStar, LG, is opening, and we've heard it, one of the most advanced battery manufacturing plants in North America. It's a $5 billion investment that represents confidence. Confidence in our workers, confidence in our sector, and also confidence in Canada's role in our global economy. So now we're at the 1,300 people hired. Congratulations. We want to ramp up production, and we want to get to 2,500 people. And I know that there's been lots happening in Ontario this week. PDAC was happening as well. It went extremely well. Lots of investments in critical minerals. And so for too long, we know that Canada has been extracting resources without necessarily always being able to capture the value of transformation. Well, we're changing that. Because let's be clear, the countries that will build batteries for cars and energy storage will define the 21st century economy. And so LG is choosing Canada for its workers, for a stable country, for the fact that we are trustworthy, and for advanced clean energy. And so we want to continue to, we believe in this partnership. We believe in the partnership with Korea. Thank you for making the trip, Minister Kim. I know we'll have an important conversation afterwards, but it is really, really great that we can work together, and we want Canada to be a trusted partner with Korea. And so we can do a lot of things together. LG, it was great to see you in Ottawa, in Korea, and also here, of course. And thank you to Ontario. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Vic. I know that you've worked for years on this. I'm here on the stage and ripping just basically all the benefits of the work and of the work of my colleague beforehand, Mr. Champagne. But I just wanted to say that we're very, very proud, and we wanted to be here, because ultimately the future is being built here in Windsor by Canadians, for Canadians, and this is a prime example of building Canada strong. Thank you so much. Merci. And it is my pleasure to introduce my counterpart, the Korean Minister of Trade, of Industry and Resources, Minister Kim. Thank you.
And thank you, Honorable Mélanie Joly and Premier Doug Falk, and distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the government of Korea, it is my great honor and pleasure to welcome you to this meaningful occasion celebrating the grand opening of NextStar Energy. Today marks a historic milestone for Canada's battery industry and a testament to the partnership between Korea and Canada. My sincere appreciation goes to the government of Canada, especially Mélanie Joly, and to the province of Ontario, and all the esteemed guests and partners for their strong support. Our friendship between Korea and Canada was made in difficult times. In 1950, when Korea faced war and uncertainty, Canada stood with us. 26,791 Canadians served. 516 gave their lives. Ontario sent one of the largest numbers of soldiers. Many families in this province will carry that history with pride. The people of Korea do not forget. We remember the courage, we remember the sacrifice, and we remain deeply grateful. Today, we gather not a time of war, but in a time of turbulence and uncertainty. Yet, the spirit of partnership remains the same. Ladies and gentlemen, the global EV market is adjusting. The demand has slowed. Investment plans have changed. NextStar Energy also faced uncertainty when their joint venture partner withdrew. At that important moment, LG Energy Solution made a clear choice. LG chose to stay in Ontario, Canada. LG chose to protect jobs. LG chose to honor its commitment. That decision deserves the recognition. By taking full ownership, LG showed confidence in Canada, confidence in Ontario's skilled workers and the community, confidence in the Canadian government that has been continuously supporting this business. This is not a short-term thinking for just benefit. This is a long-term partnership that Canada showed to Korea a long time ago. The shift to energy storage system is very strategic. ESS will support a stable power supply. However, its market is now in too early stage. It will support the resilience for the future while it's still far away to go there. This plant is not only about batteries. It is about workers. It is about families. It is about opportunities that all of us are eager to take. In today's world, economic strength and national resilience go together. Stable supply chains matter, reliable energy matters, advanced industry matters. Canada and Korea share the same value. We believe in market economy and democracy. We believe in innovation. We believe in trusted partners. When trusted partners work together in clean energy, critical minerals, advanced manufacturing, maritime industries, and other stretch sectors, we build lasting prosperity. Prosperity that creates jobs, prosperity that supports communities, prosperity that strengthens our nations. Honorable Minister and Honorable Premier and ladies and gentlemen, decades ago, Canadians crossed the Pacific to defend freedom in Korea. Today, we crossed the same ocean with investment, technology, and partnership. From shared sacrifice to shared innovation to shared prosperity, our journey continues. And now, allow me to close with this thought. The freedom that we defended together in the past gives us the chance to build together today. If we continue to act with trust, if we continue to invest with confidence, if we invest to stand side by side, there is no limit to what Canada and Korea can achieve together. The government of Korea is fully committed to deepening this long-term partnership with Korea. Let us move forward with confidence in our shared future. Congratulations to NextStar Energy of LG Energy Solution. Congratulations to the people of Ontario and Canada on this important milestone. And let us grow together as allies and as friends. Thank you very much. Now, let me introduce our global world-class famous business leader, David Kim, the CEO of the LG Energy Solution.
Thank you, Minister Kim. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm proud to stand with you today as we celebrate this important milestone for NextStar Energy. Let me begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to Minister Mélanie Joly, Premier Doug Ford, Minister Vic Fedeli, and Minister Chong Kim for joining us. He just came from Singapore. I also thank our government partners and community leaders. Your trust and collaboration made this achievement possible. Today is about progress, resilience, innovation, and confidence in our shared future. When LG Energy Solution decided to become the sole owner of NextStar Energy, we did so with absolute confidence in this facility, in this exceptional team, and in Canada. As Canada's first large-scale battery manufacturing facility, NextStar Energy will play a critical role in powering the nation's next chapter of electrification. The future of EV and ESS growth for the global community will be built here, and NextStar Energy will stand at the center of that progress. Together, through a strong partnership with the government, we will ensure that batteries made in Canada are supported and prioritized here at home. When we invested in Canadian production, we invest in Canada's future. To our employees, this milestone exists because of you. Your dedication built it. Your expertise will define what comes next. Thank you for your hard work and congratulations on this proud and historic achievement. Thank you. Please welcome Premier Doug Ford to the stage.
Well, first of all, David, thank you. Thank you for having confidence in Ontario and in Canada. Mr. Minister Kim as well, thank you. Kamsahamnida, annyeonghaseyo. And I have to learn a little more Korean, but I'm learning slowly but surely. You know, it's wonderful to be back here in Windsor, Essex, and Mayor, my champion. You know, he's a business-minded mayor. He's one of 2 or 3 out of 444 that delivered a 0% tax increase. He's a prudent fiscal manager, a business mind, and a very good friend of mine. So thank you, Mayor, for everything you've done. And Daniels, thank you. I remember meeting you the first day when we came here, and look what you've created. We have created something incredible. I've been on thousands of tours of facilities, even before I got into politics many years ago, all through the US and Canada. Folks, I can tell you, I've never seen a slicker, more high-tech operation ever. And a message to anyone who wants to open an energy storage facility here, you're going to one place. You're going to NextStar. That's it. No other place. You're going here because we put legislation in. We put legislation that you have to buy Ontario or you have to buy Canada. Now, my champion, Mélanie Joly, we get along very, very well. She is my champion. Super, super smart, super, super charming, and just an incredible person. Anytime she needs something, she just twists my arm and I give up right away. So, Mélanie, thank you for your leadership. And people don't realize how many miles, not only Mélanie, but my other champion, Vic Fedeli, log on, just all over the world. And my local champions too, my MPPs. MPPs Dowie and Liardi, thank you for everything that you do. Trevor Jonesy, thank you. Those are our local MPPs and minister that drive the whole system right here. So now, since I haven't paid attention to my paddles, they're all over the place right now. So I'm just going to go off the cuff. You know, folks, I have to, Lana Payne. Sorry, Lana. That's what happens when I don't have my folks in front of me. And I want to thank you. We have an incredible relationship. It's amazing when labor, when the federal government, when the provincial government and municipal governments work together, nothing can stop us. Nothing at all. You know, we're seeing a lot of pressure from around the, I can't say around the world. We're seeing pressure from one guy south of the border. And everyone knows I don't see eye to eye with President Trump. As long as he targets us with tariffs, takes aims at Ontario businesses and workers in every part of our province. And we know border communities like Windsor, Essex, they're feeling the pressure. But in saying that, when there's a little bit of crisis, I see massive opportunities. Opportunities here. And as part of our government's plan to protect Ontario, we're building a province that is more competitive, more resilient, and more self-reliant, so we can stand up to tariffs, economic uncertainty, and whatever else comes our way. And how you do that? You create the climate and the conditions for companies to come here. And what I mean by that, you cut taxes. We have never, ever raised a tax. We reduced the cost of doing business by $12 billion each and every single year. Because if we don't do that, you aren't going to be competitive around the world. There's many areas around the world that companies can go to, but there's no area that has the smartest, brightest people anywhere in the world right here in Ontario. We're pro-business government, pro-people government, and we're cutting red tape by $1.2 billion, streamlining approvals, keeping taxes and fees low, and investing in our workers. And we call it the white glove treatment, Vic and I. You call either one of us up, we'll cut through the red tape, we'll get to the right to the bottom line and make things happen. Nothing is worse than government bureaucracy. It drives me absolutely crazy. Any federal issues, 1-800-call Mel Joly, and she'll take care of it. So she's quick on the draw as well. And, because of this progress, we're saving, as I said earlier, businesses $12 billion each and every single year, and 1.8 million working hours that are being reinvested into more jobs and economic growth. Our government is also doubling down on more than $223 of infrastructure, building roads and bridges and highways to get goods from point A to point B, and as well as right here in Windsor, Essex, which is the largest plan of its kind in Canadian history. We're investing, as I mentioned, in roads and highways and transit and hospitals and schools, because that's what you do. You build for the future. There's a difference between politicians that look year by year on their budgets and politicians that look 50 years down the road and 100 years down the road. And with this project, we're looking 50 to 100 years down the road. So we can create more jobs, grow Ontario's economy, and invest in the services that workers and families depend on. In Windsor-Essex, we're investing over $190 million through our municipal housing infrastructure program. We know that's important because the people that are working here, they need a home. They need to be able to afford a home. And we're there to support construction over 3,000 new homes in the community with a great collaboration of Mayor Dilkins. Work is underway to widen Highway 3 as well, which is a major corridor between Essex and Leamington, and build a new interchange connecting Highway 401 to the future of Lausanne Parkway extension. We're also building a state-of-the-art, this is a beauty, one of the most expensive builds we're doing in the country, Windsor-Essex Regional Hospital, because you can't have good workers without having a healthy workforce. So we're investing in healthcare infrastructure, investment in southwestern Ontario. More money's come down to southwestern Ontario than ever in the history of southwestern Ontario, and which will connect local patients' as hospital to world-class care they need when and where they need it. By cutting costs to families and businesses and creating the conditions for growth, Ontario has attracted, and this is just since we've been elected, has attracted, stop yawning there, I'm not that bad, Vic. Do you know what it is? The guy's up about 3 o'clock in the morning, he never sleeps. Anyways, thanks to Vic, we have attracted more than $213 billion in new investments and created 1 million new jobs since we got elected. Through the previous government chased 300,000 jobs out of this province because of high taxes, red tape, and Mayor Dilkins, all he saw is red lights going south of the border. Now Mayor Dilkins, all he sees is headlights coming. Over 1 million more people are working today than they were a year ago. This, of course, includes LG Energy Solutions' incredible $5 billion NextStar battery plant, and I'm thrilled to be here to celebrate the grand opening today. This plant is a game changer for Ontario's auto and energy storage, advanced manufacturing sector, and will create up to 2,500 jobs. I understand we already have 1,300 good-paying jobs right here at this facility, and once it's fully operational, hopefully we'll go through that right up to 2,500 to 3,000 jobs. I just want to congratulate everyone from NextStar. I'm very grateful that you've had us by today, and we'll always be there to help you. Anything you need, you call me on my cell, and we'll take care of it absolutely immediately. I want to thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much, everyone.
I now invite our VIP speakers to head to the stage as we open the floor for questions from the media. Media can come to the microphone and line up behind me and state their name and outlet. Just a reminder, the follow is one question and one follow-up. First reporter.
Merci. Mon nom c'est Gabriel Nikunana de Radio-Canada Windsor. Ma question s'adresse à ministre Mélanie Joly. Qu'est-ce que les Canadiens doivent comprendre de la porte laissée ouverte par Mark Carney sur une participation canadienne dans le conflit Iran-États-Unis et Israël?
Merci. Où êtes-vous? Je ne vous vois pas.
Je suis derrière.
Ah, ok. Parfait. Ah, bon, parfait. Merci. Et vous êtes de quel média? Pardon, j'ai mal entendu.
Voilà, Gabriel Nikunana, Radio-Canada, Windsor.
Ah, ok, parfait. Merci, Gabriel. Écoutez, la priorité de notre gouvernement, lorsqu'on pense à ce qui se passe au Moyen-Orient présentement, c'est certainement la sécurité de nos citoyens qui sont au Moyen-Orient. Alors, c'est la priorité de la ministre Annan, c'est la priorité du premier ministre, et en même temps, bien entendu, c'est la déescalade. On veut faire en sorte de retourner à la paix au Moyen-Orient.
Le gouvernement fédéral a investi des millions de dollars dans ce projet au cours des derniers mois. On a vu des entreprises dans le secteur automobile, notamment, fermer des usines dans le contexte de la guerre commerciale avec les États-Unis. Quelles sont les garanties que vous avez pour vous assurer que dans ce cas-ci, l'entreprise va maintenir sa production et les milliers d'emplois ici dans la région?
Mais bonne nouvelle, l'entreprise a déjà engagé 1300 personnes, donc 1300 emplois ont été créés ici et nous allons aller vers 2500 emplois alors que la production va augmenter. Ce sont des bonnes nouvelles pour Windsor, des bonnes nouvelles pour l'Ontario, des bonnes nouvelles pour le Canada. C'est le genre de nouvelles que l'on doit entendre ces jours-ci et je suis convaincue que les gens qui nous écoutent présentement en sont très contents également.
Hello, my name's Adele. I'm with Blackburn News, and I have a question for Mr. Lee. I guess Mr. Lee, is he up on the stage or where did he go? Okay, maybe he can go with the mic. Mr. Lee, you have all these people up on the stage that say they're going to be here for you if you need anything. So I guess what do you need to increase production and get that extra 1,200 people hired?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we still have a long way to go. We just put the shift in our priority from the EV sectors to ESS sectors. However, still EV sector, we have a big trust in the EV sector, and we need, we need to put all the hands together to, promote this EV, which is a really clean energy. So with that, we can, naturally create our good cycle of the supply chain for the EV2. And at the same time, once again, we have a great, domestically manufactured, made in Canada battery available here in Windsor. So with Buy Canadian good policy, I think here in Canada, we have plenty of opportunity to power with the NextStar Energy's battery. Thank you.
My follow-up is for Premier Ford. I guess, Doug, having heard that, I guess, is there anything the province can do to encourage consumers to buy more EV vehicles?
Yeah, well, first of all, we need to buy more EV vehicles, but we also need every single person, not just in Ontario, but every one of my Premier friends, you have energy storage, buy the batteries here off NextStar. It's absolutely incredible. And follow the legislation, which I believe the federal government has. You have to buy Canadian. Ontario, you have to buy Ontario or Canadian. So that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to try to stir up as much business as possible.
Hi there, my name is Madeline Mazak. I'm with the Windsor Star. I have a question for Minister Joly and Doug Ford, whoever can answer this for me. I'm curious, what's the total value of performance-based subsidies that the provincial government and federal government have so far distributed to NextStar, and which benchmarks were reached for those payments to be released?
Well, that'd be Vic Fedeli and Mel. They're the ones that deal with it.
Well, we can provide you with the details of it, but what I can tell you, though, is the support has been based on production. And so that was important for the company to be able also to produce. We just saw, obviously, the video was highlighting it, the million, there were a million batteries produced, and so our support was linked to that. And that is why we want to ramp up production, because we think that ramping up production will help hire more people, and of course the federal government will be there through that entire operation. Thank you.
From a capital perspective, earlier there was a 50-50 partnership between the federal and provincial government for a portion of the $5+ billion building here. So we would have been a percentage of that shared equally. And then, of course, there's the production support that has since been developed as well. So the real point to make here is that they've honored all of their commitments here. It has been an absolutely spectacular two-way partnership between LG, NextStar, and the entire people of Ontario and Canada.
I'll just add one thing. At the time when Vic and Minister Champagne were negotiating, the reality in the US was different. There was the Inflation Reduction Act, and we were in a real competition to get a battery plant in North America. And that is why I think we were able to offer that amount, because it was linked to the Inflation Reduction Act. While the US has decided to take their own decisions, it's, you know, and it's up to them to take their own decisions. We thought that we need to double down on these investments. We thought it was important to continue notwithstanding, because the US could take other decisions eventually. But we were on the right path, and we're convinced we're still on the right path.
Just one last question, maybe for Minister Joly again. We've seen over the past few weeks, months, the federal government releasing new defense strategy, new auto strategy. What are your thoughts about the workforce here in Windsor-Essex and what we're poised to capitalize on when it comes to these new directions we're going in the country?
Well, that's a super good question, because when developing the auto strategy, we had in mind the workers here in Windsor, across Western Ontario. And we thought that we needed to come up with an auto strategy to bring certainty to the sector. It was fundamental for us to be in a position to be in control and to attract investments notwithstanding, and to offer clarity to companies like LG and to companies like also GM, Stellantis, the D3, but also to companies that wanted to come to Canada and invested. And so I think it's been well received. At least my friend Doug has said he was happy with it, Vic as well. And now we're in implementation mode. The policy is clear, the direction is clear. Now we need to land investments. And so we think that the auto strategy will help protect jobs. And at the same time, when we think about our defense industrial strategy, our goal is to help the advanced manufacturing sector, auto, aerospace, tech, etc. And we think that we can take that money and invest in companies that are willing to pivot some of their production towards defense, which can include, obviously, companies such as here and such as throughout the auto sector. Our goal is to create 125,000 jobs, so I look forward to hearing more projects coming out of Windsor and Southwestern Ontario to be able to ultimately benefit from these investments.
And now I'm going to add something to that, because Minister Joly's job is to bring these companies to Canada. Premier Ford's job and my job is to bring them to Ontario. We have 300 Ontario defense firms right now. We've added $50 million to Venture Ontario. We've added the same amount of money to Invest Ontario, to bring investment here into Ontario, where, as I've said many times, there's no better closer on a deal than Premier Doug Ford, and so we've got our secret weapon in the defense sector.
My name is Greg Layson, Automotive News Canada. My first question is for Minister Joly, if I could, please. Minister, on February 19th,
you have Doug Ford. You're sure you don't want to
I'm
ask
positive on this one. On February 19th, when speaking about the submarine procurement contract, you said, and I'm quoting, "Fundamentally, what we want is a car plant." Neither of the bidders are automakers. One is loosely linked to Hyundai. What evidence is there to suggest that this strategy will work?
Well, since this week, the bidders had to present their entire proposal. And so obviously, because the procurement process is now in its final mode, I can't comment on what's going on. But I'll be clear. We want a car plant.
My follow-ups for the Premier. Premier Ford, you have named Kia and Hyundai personally when talking about the future of auto investment in this province. Yesterday, Hyundai reported a record February sales. That's on the heel of a record January in sales in Canada. What is your message to Hyundai, who is selling more vehicles in this country than Stellantis?
Well, there's 200 and roughly, last count I had, 230,000 cars And anyone who sells 230,000 cars needs to open up a plant here. It's as simple as that. They're a quality company, quality people, great cars. But you can't sell 230,000 cars without having a strong presence here. So I highly encourage them to come to Ontario. We'll work with them. We will support them. We will roll out the red carpet for them. But you can't expect, those sales without having a strong presence right here in Ontario.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for taking our questions. My name is Emma Loop, and I'm a reporter with CBC Windsor. My first question is for Minister Joly and Premier Ford with regards to the funding that has been provided to NextStar so far. I know you said you'd disclose it separately, but I'm wondering if you still feel that investment was worth it, considering it was made on the basis of EV battery production and the establishment of an EV battery chain. Are you still happy with the decision that was made?
See, this is what's beautiful about NextStar. They can shift, and most companies should be able to do this. If the EVs are slow, then they go to energy storage, and then they can go back, or they can split it. The technology, folks, I've seen here, and again, I've been into thousands, not hundreds, thousands of companies around the world, around North America. I've never seen technology like this in my entire life. But it just goes to show the leadership of Mr. Lee and his whole team here. And they're just absolutely incredible, the team members on the floor. Never seen anything like it. So congratulations to them. And I'm sure when the EV sector picks up, they're going to ramp up. They have lines all the way down this 4.25 million square foot facility. Class operation. I absolutely love them, and it was worth every single penny. And if they decide to expand, we'll put more money into it.
It was indeed very fascinating to see how much there was advanced manufacturing and how much the plant is modern. But what was even, I think, even more touching was the fact that we met with some of the 1,300 employees and the pride they have in their eyes when they saw us coming in. Because for years, Canada has been extracting resources and shipping them all around the world, which is a good thing. But now we need to take these resources and transform them into value, which is basically a battery. We have the critical minerals. We now have one of the most productive and modern battery manufacturing plant here in North America. We will double down and we will defend, and I will defend every single jobs linked to this facility. And we want more jobs, and you know that, and they know that. And we'll get to 2,500.
Mr. Lee, please.
I think the main question is of whether or not those, investment in the NextStar Energy is really worth it. But yes, the job count, the number of jobs itself is one thing. But another thing is that the quality of the job. That's really another thing. And I think you have a chance to have a look at how our employees are working on the production floor and what they are doing. Yesterday is very much different from what they are doing today. So all the skill set that are necessary is something we also have invested a lot in our people's, skill and quality to perform this high-tech job. So at the end of the day, the skill set our people will be a huge envy of our competitor. So this is something that our people never get somewhere else. So I just want to underscore about the quality of the job our people are acquiring here in the NextStar Energy.
Where's the chief operating officer that took us on a tour? Is he here? Oh, they're here. Come on up, my friend. You tell me what you tell them. One of the brightest people. I'm telling you, this guy's sharp as a tack. But tell them about the training, how you send people over to get trained in Germany, then over to Korea, and then you have them back here, and they're the trainers. It's an impressive story.
Thank
This
you.
guy is sharp as heck, I'm telling you.
Thank you for the warm welcome, sir. Thank you. We were talking about the SEED program at NextStar, which was the vision from our leader, Mr. Dennis Lee, whereas we started recruiting our top talent from the community, from each department, we identified those employees and we sent them for 4 to 5 weeks to Poland to train with already engineers, technicians who had been producing batteries for years. From that pool of people, we continued to do testing to make sure we had the brightest, the top talent, continued to send them to China for multiple weeks, to Korea, then bring them back to NextStar to help us be successful for this launch, to hit this aggressive launch curve. But now they're train the trainer where they continue to develop all of our new hires as we continue to scale the company. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
You're really good.
Thank you.
Is this on?
See, Vic, we need more guys in the government like that.
The next question is for Minister Joly. Et pouvez-vous répondre en français aussi, Madame la Ministre? You have said as part of your automotive strategy, the government's automotive strategy, that you'll be putting together an automotive council. I don't know if I have the right term, but yeah, I think Premier Ford is a member of that. I think all of us in Windsor are wondering, will anyone from Windsor be on that council?
Well, we'll be coming up with the details. The goal is to be able to have a smaller task force, but that will be engaging across the country, across Ontario mainly, and also the country. But our goal also is to call the Stellantis work group very soon regarding also what is going on in Stellantis. Ah oui, oui, oui. Mais c'est sûr que notre objectif, c'est de faire en sorte justement, premièrement, on va arriver avec les détails sous peu concernant ce groupe de travail, et en même temps, le but c'est qu'il soit un peu plus petit, mais en même temps qu'on va être en mesure de travailler et de consulter plusieurs personnes en Ontario et partout à travers le pays. Mais ceci dit, la semaine prochaine, nous aurons l'occasion d'avoir une nouvelle rencontre du groupe de travail lié à Stellantis.
Rusty Thompson from AM 800. This question is for Premier Ford. Late yesterday afternoon, Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkins issued a statement asking the province to allow the city to toll trucks heading to the Ambassador Bridge along Huron Church Road until the Gordie Howe Bridge is open. Is this something your government would allow?
Well, first of all, I've always said I'm against tolls, but in this case, you know, what I love about Mayor Dilkins, this guy thinks outside the box. And if they don't get the Gordie Howe Bridge open soon, then we're going to unleash Mayor Dilkins on him. So we'll sit down and we'll have a chat. But the best thing for both countries, it's the busiest bridge, Ambassador, in North America, the Ambassador Bridge. They want a monopoly. Well, that monopoly's not going to happen. We need to open up the Gordie Howe Bridge down the road a bit and get traffic going back and forth. There's about 2,300 and change truck hours that go across that bridge, and we need to split the capacity over to Gordie Howe Bridge. But again, we'll sit down with Mayor Dilkins, and that's what I love about this guy. He's always thinking.
Follow up. When the original tariffs and the trade war started, it was about border security. It was about fentanyl. And in your budget, you have money for a police helicopter, one for Windsor. Is that still a necessary investment? Is that still needed down here? Is it something you're still going to go forward with?
Yes, well, we'll continue going forward, and that was all a bunch of hogwash about fentanyl. We have more drugs, more illegal guns coming from the southern border than you could ever imagine. All these heinous crimes that are being committed in Toronto and the greater Toronto area, they aren't coming from here. They're coming from the U.S. So maybe they should beefing up the border, and we work together collaboratively, not pointing fingers, saying we have fentanyl, we have this. That's just a bunch of hogwash. Let's work together. Let's stop the drugs coming back and forth across the border. Let's stop the illegals. Let's stop the illegal guns. That's what collaboration is. Not pointing the finger up at us just to come up with an excuse to put a tariff on us. And everyone knows it. We've had in-depth conversations with Border Patrol, drug enforcement agencies down in the U.S., our Ontario Provincial Police, our RCMP. They're all great people. So my message to the administration down there, don't play games, right? We're here to work together.
This will be the last reporter.
Thank you for taking our questions today. Michelle Molesky from CTV Windsor. My questions are to Minister Joly. Big question in Windsor. Does Donald Trump have the ability to pause, delay the Gordie Howe Bridge opening?
So I know the Prime Minister and the President have been in contact and have had discussions over this. I won't get into the details of it, obviously, but our goal is to definitely be able to open the bridge. And of course, we paid for that bridge.
And sorry to you again, Minister. Has the Canadian government formally sued Stellantis over the idling of Brampton?
So we've had many conversations with Stellantis, many conversations also with Unifor and Lana Payne. We will be calling the Stellantis working group also next week. And I won't comment any further because obviously we've made sure that the legal process continues.
This concludes today's questions. I ask the VIPs to stay on stage for the ceremonial ribbon cutting.
Great. Well, first of all, thank you, everyone at NextStar. Thank you to our federal and municipal partners and Unifor. Folks, remember, we have the brightest, smartest people in the world. We have the ingenuity. We have the critical minerals. We have the energy. We will take on anyone in the world. And I just, again, want to thank everyone for coming today, and God bless. Thank you.
Okay, for the ribbon cutting, if the panel can step and if we can call up LGES CEO David Kim, Korean Minister Kim, Senior VP Hyun Kim, and MPPs Dowie, Jones, and Liardi, please.